Hello, JP Morrison here. We're in the studio, and today we're going to talk about the Reeves Shuffle. What we mean by the Reeves Shuffle and how it's played. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, JP Morrison here. We're in the studio. Today it's Shuffle Day. So I thought how fitting it would be to talk about the Reeves Shuffle and what we mean by the Reeves Shuffle. I guess it was several months ago, or a couple months ago, I did a tribute video to a dear friend of mine that we lost way too soon by the name of Randy Reeves. He was a huge influence on me as a drummer growing up, and he had the unique ability to play a double or full shuffle, but he put his own little spin on it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But before I get into that, I want to give you a little background on Randy. He was just an incredible human being, a great musician. I followed him everywhere. I wore him out, and I followed him all over Houston, and in the studio I had privilege of sitting and watching him do his thing, and it was a master class, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I'll forever be grateful to him for that. But one of the things that I saw him do was the Reeves Shuffle. And I've not seen anybody prior to that or since then do it this way. As a matter of fact, I was just in Houston visiting a couple of friends in the music business. And they're from they're in the Houston area as well, and knew Randy. And we were talking about this very topic, and Randy and the Reeves Shuffle, and they made the same comment. They like, we've never seen anybody do it prior to or since him, other than those of us that were influenced by him and saw him do it and learned it. And so it's kind of a unique take on a double or full shuffle. And when I say the double shuffle or full shuffle, it's synonymous terms. And I've only seen one other variation or other person do a variation of it, and that was Steve Gadd. I saw it in a video. But anyway, the first time I saw it was on a gig that Randy was doing, and they were covering a Reba McEntire tune called Little Rock. I guess it was probably in the mid-'80s, probably 85 or 86. Reba came out with her album, Whoever's in New England. And on that album was a song called Little Rock. And I believe Matt Betton was the drummer, an incredible drummer. He played on a lot of albums and recordings, and I think played with Jimmy Buffett and some others. But go get that album and listen to that song and hear him do the double shuffle. It was just incredible. But the first time I'd seen it live was Randy Reeves covering that tune with the band he was in that was made up of a bunch of session musicians there in Houston, and just an incredible band. And I watched him do it, but I'd never seen it done this way. And so I want to kind of take time to walk you through what I mean by the Reeves Shuffle, and a lot of other Houston peeps refer to it as the Reeves Shuffle. So on a double shuffle or a full shuffle, you basically got both limbs shuffling, okay? And it's typically used on especially I should say, on a country tune in 4/4 walking bass. So you got 4/4 on the floor with the kick, walking along, and then on your ride cymbal or hi-hat, whatever, you're shuffling. And so I'm gonna try not to get too loud so I don't overpower the microphone here on the camera. But and then while you're doing that, you're gonna shuffle with the left hand and accent 2 and 4, the backbeat. So all together, it sounds like this. Okay, so that's what you're probably familiar with. Now, here's where it starts to differentiate from the full or double shuffle to the Reeves Shuffle. Most drummers that play that groove, whether it's a blues groove or a country 4/4 shuffle, typically will put the hat on every beat with the kick, or they'll just do the hat on 2 and 4. So it's kind of, and I won't do it so that don't overpower everything so you can hear it. But so when you're before, they're either doing the hat with that while they're shuffling, or they're doing it on 2 and 4 with the backbeat. Now, what Reeves was very, very good at and taught me was to not only listen to the vocalist, but the rest of the band members. And typically on a song like that, with that pattern, the guitar player is doing a little vamp or chunk on the guitar on the offbeat, or the end of the beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So they're grooving along, you know, and the piano player, if you've got one, they're typically doing the same thing. So their piano player's probably playing the bass line with the bass player with his left hand, but chunking with his right hand on the off and the and beat. And so what Reeves did, and what the Reeves Shuffle is all about, is he put the hi-hat, on the end of the beat. So it would be like this. While the guitar player is doing it, while the piano player is doing it, and when you do that, just watch the reaction of the guitar player, the piano player, the steel player, any player that is doing that vamp in that groove. They're going to notice something different because they've never heard it before, I promise you. And when they hear that, they're going to instantly dig it, because now they have a reference point and it just tightens everything up. And I would say probably, especially in the country genre where it's 4/4 shuffle or whatever, sometimes the left shuffle can get a little too busy. Some producers don't like that. They just like 2 and 4. But I'll still do that on the end of the beat a lot of times to make it lope and make it flow. And but 99% of the time, I'm doing the full shuffle, Reeves Shuffle, or a variation of it. And it can even be done up, and it's really cool to play around with it, but it be done in 3/4. So like a typical waltz, like that, but when you have a bass player or a song that, you know, where they're walking the bass, bum, 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 you can do the Reeves Shuffle in 3/4. Kind of like that. And I've kind of made it my own and do some different things and some ghost notes and some you know, stuff on the hat while I'm doing it. So play around with it. But that is the Reeves Shuffle. Now, the variation that I saw Steve Gadd do was basically quarter notes on the hat instead of shuffling. So it would be like a normal full shuffle would be you're shuffling with the right hand. But Gadd just did that. And if you listen to it, it still gives the feel of a shuffle. It still lopes, and it's really cool. Just to, you know, play around with it. But that's the only other person that I've seen do the hat on the end of the beat, the offbeat. And that was his take on it. Now, I'm sure he does it however he wants to do it. And I would be kind of curious if Matt Bettens ever stumbles across this video, if he does it that way, or just the typical double shuffle that we're used to seeing everybody do. I'd be curious to see how he did it on that Little Rock tune, if he ever sees this in comments. So go get that album. It was an incredible song. That was the first time I saw it play, but that's also the first time and only time that I saw the hat utilized that way with Randy Reeves. And it's kind of become something that I'm known for, just because I've just done it all these many years that way. So let me know your comments. Feel free to follow me and go to the website, jpmorrisondrums.com. And if you do, go over there and sign the guest book. Let me know you drop by. I'd love to follow you back on social media and all of those different platforms. So thanks for tuning in. Hope I brought some value and some insight on the Reeves Shuffle in honor of my good friend Randy Reeves. With that being said, y'all have a great rest of your day.